and you're listening to the Nollywood Spotlight Show on Nollywood Radio France. So, right here with me, I have my awesome friend with me, Laura Chris from Houston, Texas.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
And of course, we have Cyprian Josson from France. Cyprian, tell us exactly where you are.
Yeah, thank you, Rebecca. What's the Precious is 8,000 kilometers away. I'm in a small city called Chartres, 100 kilometers away from Paris. So, Rebecca, what have you got for us today? I can hear that Tonton Dike is our target today. Is that?
Yes. One of the top stories we're going to be talking about today. Ladies and gentlemen, you want to hear this. A little funny, but, you know, it still germinates some type of ideas in my mind as to why she's going this direction. But we'll see what you think. So the story is, first of all, this story is from modernghana.com. So go ahead and check it out yourself. The title of the story is Nigerians Blast Tonton Dike After Outing with Her Maid. So what the situation is here is that the Nollywood actress Tonton Dike earlier posted a photo of her and her maid, posted a picture of the gifts she bought for her maid. Then later on, about a week ago, posted a picture on Instagram of her and a maid at an outing. I mean, the maids seem all, you know, together and respectful and afraid, but some people say she looks beautiful and the picture is just a living picture. I don't see that, whatever. But the problem here is not the fact that she's at an outing with her maid. The problem is she posted on Instagram saying that she's on an outing and called the maid the maid a maid and not using her actual name. That's the problem. Not using the actual name of the maid is the problem. So the fact that she's going on Twitter, going on Instagram, and who knows where else, calling the girl that, you know, helps her at home, which is her maid, a maid, and not actually using her name, her first name, is the problem here. So fans are saying, why? Okay, let me read you what a fan specifically. A fan says, why her name gotta be made? I bet she has a name. Just saying. A fan wrote. Then another fan wrote, must you use the word maid? You know, so they're saying, why are you using the word maid to identify your maid? Why aren't you using her first name? You know, so I guess the question here, guys, I mean, is it just me? I mean, I know this kind of is a big deal. There is an underlying message behind this, and I think even though it stems from a very small situation, it actually is a big issue. A lot of people in Africa, maybe not just in Africa, but from my experience in Nigeria, treat their maids really bad. Now here is Tonton Dike, a public figure in Nollywood, actually taking a picture with her maid, going out on a picnic. So if the message she's putting out there, a message of love, that she respects her maid, she appreciates what the maid is doing, and she's actually confident and open enough to do something nice with her maid. Is that the message you're getting, Sipra and Laura? What do you think about this?
What I can say is, we all know Tonton Dike, she likes to attract attention to herself. It could be a spotlight on herself, a type of indirect advertisement or publicity for herself.
Right.
I saw the picture quite alright. I can see that she was in a tender mood with the maid, and even if she called her maid a maid, this is how people treat their maids in Nigeria, because you can see the maid answering yes ma, yes sir,
right.
And then they are bowing and kneeling down. For somebody coming all the way from France or from the United States or from London, you'll be shocked to see this type of attitude, because if you don't bow down and answer yes ma and yes sir, you might be beaten. You might be beaten.
Oh, it's not a mic, friend. You will be
beaten. Okay, you can see. And this, you can imagine that the maid, it's a worker in your house, somebody serving you. So how do we differentiate who is a maid and who is a slave? This is what baffles me. This is what baffles me. When you see the situation, I don't know what Laura is going to add to what we're saying.
Not always in pictures, though. Do you always put everybody's name? Like, I've posted pictures myself and my brother. Not always do I have to put my brother and his name. And so, it could have been just a spur of the moment snapshot picture, fun day, and she was just describing the relationship between her and the other woman. And so it may not have even occurred to her that she has to put a name down, or maybe she purposely didn't for the girl's protection. You don't know.
True. And I agree with that, Laura. I mean, I would like to believe that the only reason Tonton Dike is not including the name of her maid into the things that she posts on social media is to protect her identity or, her family and things like that. But that, on a real scale, Laura, sorry to bust the bubble, it just doesn't happen like that in Nigeria, okay? She's not, part of the presidency. She doesn't have security guards protecting her. Quite frankly, Tonton does not really give a crap about anything going on with her family or herself. But I think that if you really look at this picture, it tells 1,000 stories. That girl looks scared to death, okay? To me, I feel like she's so uncomfortable. The way she's sitting, it doesn't, the relationship between the both of them, to me, it doesn't look natural. And I'm quite frankly, I'm kind of disgusted because this girl looks pretty young. She looks like a teenager. And I don't know why Nigerians would hire someone so young. She's not married, so if she hired an adult to actually take care of her house, it's not like the adult is trying to steal her husband. She's not married, so I don't see why she can't hire an adult to come to the house, clean her house, wash her clothes, and go home. Why does the maid have to live at her house, But I don't know what's going on, what the relationship is, what the negotiations are of her staying with her. I hope this young girl actually goes to school. I hope that's part of the negotiations, that she actually gets an education in addition to attending to her boss. A lot of these maid situations in Nigeria are caused, solely because of poverty. It's not a choice. A lot of the times when you're made in Nigeria, and those situations, those circumstances are terrible. Terrible situation. I actually, just one thing I want to mention. I actually know of someone who hired a young girl. She's 13 years old. She was a maid, and this person would literally take the anger of her marriage not working out with her husband and the maid. She would just beat the girl massively, and I just felt so horrible. I couldn't believe I knew someone like that. I guess, being in Europe, you kind of forget about that, forget that these things actually do occur. I'm glad, Tonton Dike, if you're listening to this, I'm actually happy that you're taking this girl out on a picnic. I hope that sets an example for people out there to actually treat your helpers right, and take them as human beings and not as slaves, like Cyprian was saying earlier, which is the truth. Rich people like to trample on other people, less fortunate people. It's not just in Nigeria, it's all over the world, mostly in Africa, really. But there are rules against certain things like that in Europe. You can only do that to a certain extent in Europe, but in Africa there is no limit to really how far you can go.
Yeah, what I would like to add is that this opens a debate a debate on the issue of poverty in Nigeria, a country that's oil rich, but you can find out that the young people, the next generation, a good number of them, maybe the ones that went to the university, or even the ones now we're calling the maids, they have no future. So you can see that a nation that the teenagers, the young people really have no future. What do you think of this type of country? So starting from Tonton Dike, having a maid, and then the fans want a good explanation of why do you call your maid a maid, and then and then she's getting angry. She owes that explanation to her fans because
she is a public figure.
She's a public figure, and without her fans, she couldn't have been where she is today. That she has to know that. She has to know that's very, very important. So again, coming to the point you raised that the maids might be going to school, I doubt it, because when you are a maid, you are on a 24 or almost 16 hours walk in a day. Let me give an example of being a maid, because myself, I can see, the first time I came down to Lagos, I was a maid myself, because in my uncle's home, because it was the only way for him to get a job for me, you see. So you can start cleaning the living room. You have to clean it very, very good. You go to the kitchen, you clean the toilet, and before you know it, madam will call you, say, yes, ma, and then you see.
All of us have to be careful on, if we don't want to be criticized for things, be careful what you put on the internet.
Right.
She's the one that opened up the can of worms by posting the information in the first place.
Right.
And then now getting upset when people ask her about it. So that is something that we all have to remember when we post things, including myself, that if you're going to put your business out on the internet in some form or fashion, don't be surprised when people question you about it.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't think it's something new for her. I think a lot of the time, though, we fans, we people, when we love someone so much, we enjoy watching them on the screen. We watch them so much on our screen, they become a part of our household. And, we as human beings forget that these celebrities are also human beings. They make mistakes on a regular basis. And I think this situation right here really just exposes the reality of the life of this young girl in the picture. This is her life. This is what she's written to, and unless a miracle happens or something tremendous and positive happens in her life, she might have to be a maid for the rest of her life, And this is the fact. This is the reality of what happened. Now, we can definitely talk about Tonton Dike and tell her, you know what, treat this girl right, treat her as a human being. We're moving from the age of slavery, just because somebody's helping you doesn't mean they're a slave, They're actually human beings, flesh and blood. We want you to respect her and treat her, by her name. I mean, put her on the pedestal that she deserves. She deserves better than what you're calling her.
Rebecca, why did she put that out on the internet? Going back, taking on what Laura has just said, this is very important. This is a private matter happening in your house. Why did you post that on the internet? And then you want us to remain quiet. We cannot remain quiet because we're doing our jobs, you see. So we have to talk about it. So she.
Different though. I don't think she thought that we would take it in a negative light though, if you really look at it.
And again, she quoted the Bible. Can you read her quotation from the Bible?
Yeah. Okay, so the response she gave, which is, oh my gosh, you're so silly.
Quote and unquote, can you read that? I mean the quotation from the Bible.
Okay, so she says, I had to read the broken a couple of times, guys. Please forgive me if I butchered this broken. But I will post this quote as well on Nollywood Spotlight, blogspot.com, so you guys can read it. Sorry if I butcher it right now. I'm just letting y'all know ahead of time. So, Tonton Dike, by the way, her nickname is Poko, P-O-K-O. I don't know what that means, but let's move on with the quote, okay? So, he says, why do you people always look for fault in anything I do or say? Remember the Bible says, ye that always see the bad fault in others without seeing his or her own is digging a pit to grieve. Is that grieve?
Yeah. Okay.
Digging a pit to grave.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Okay.
To guard. A grave. Okay, but then she puts in broken, no be me talker. Oh, na he there for Bible.
Yeah, but
meaning she's not the one who says it, it's in the Bible.
yeah, but what I don't like about a good number of Nigerians is that they are misquoting and using the Bible in a very out of context, you see, baby,
Right.
because I don't see why the Bible, a quotation is not well taken from it. This is not the right quotation from the Bible. It's
Exactly.
I think she's trying to quote the New Testament. That
Right.
we should not criticize or whatever. But the issue of the point of using the Bible every time you can hear somebody saying Holy Ghost fire, the devil is a liar.
Right.
You see, I don't understand that.
I don't either.
I don't understand
I
that.
don't know if this helps their case at all.
I don't see the link. I don't see the link.
At all.
You see,
At all.
it waters the argument down completely.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
see.
it does. It does. It does. Well, I mean, again, Tonto, if you're listening to this, as an actress, we respect you. We think you're doing a great job. You're mastering your craft. You're doing great on screen. But you have to remember that your job as an actress does not end on screen. Because you've chosen the path you've chosen, your life will be forever. For as long as you are on screen, watch and criticize and scrutinize and needle picked on. So you have to look at the image that you put out there. You never see, Omotola Ajolade, do something like this, or even Genevieve Anaji. It's just something that they wouldn't do because they know people are watching them, not just in Nigeria, but I'm in the United States of America. Cyprian Jusson is in France, Europe. We are watching you, and what our job out here is to promote Nollywood in
That's correct.
every nature of it. So when we see something like this, we have no choice but to bring it to the table. And we really appreciate, again, what you're doing on screen. We think it's fantastic. But again, I hope the young lady that's living with you is well taken care of, and going to school in addition to being at home. There has to be a benefit to her life other than serving you. You're impacting a positive image, a positive message, to where for any reason she becomes someone that is respected in society, she too can pay forward because of the examples you've given to her, I can only hope that that's what she's doing, right, Cyprian?
Yeah, I think I think what she's doing really is what I mentioned earlier, is to attract attention to herself. Each time, if it is not the way she sings, because she sings sometimes, you see, but she's not a good singer, I know, because I sing, you see. Even if she's listening to me, you see, Tonton Dike, you need to go for a singing workshop in Nigeria, and try to develop your voice, you see. But now in this case now, if it is not for something that concerns the maid, you will hear again that she's going to do some other thing again. I think there was a time she had problems. She had different problems. She's equivalent to Jim Ike. They call her the bad girl also. In every industry we should be proud to have our bad boys and our bad girls. You see.
Bad girls, right?
Yeah.
We need something entertaining.
Yeah. This is it. Yeah, we need our bad boys and bad girls in the industry, and it's very stimulating, it's spicy. It's spicy because if everybody is beautiful and everybody is kind and everybody is good, I think the world wouldn't go around the way we want it, at least in our job, because we do have something to talk about. So I think coming back to this girl, the maid, whether she calls her a maid, she calls her whatever, the most important thing is to give that young girl a future. A future. Very, very important. Not only that girl, she can now create foundations, maybe she's been doing it, foundation to help the good number of children on the streets.
Right.
Selling pure water and selling akara and so on. That's not their role. They should be in schools. You see, so shifting away from Tonton Dike to all the celebrities, the one we're going to talk about Genevieve Naji. We've seen that she's getting more money again. She won a wonderful contract. That will be that's your next pick, right? Let them create foundations, different foundations for children, raise funds to help, give back to your society. That was the podcast we did last week, right? Try to give back to your society. But I doubt it, because in the Nigerian society is to show off your money. That's the point. You've been listening to Nollywood Radio France. Keep checking on this website for new episodes of Nollywood Radio France. Like us on Facebook.